Do you want to know how much it's going to cost you to start your own business? Have you been wondering about that? Well, in today's podcast episode, that's what I'm going to talk about and share with you. Aloha and mahalo for joining me. I'm Janet, and welcome to the Call to Create podcast. I am here to help you start your business and help you stitch all the pieces of your business together because it can seem overwhelming sometimes. And I wanted to talk to you about if you're ever wondering, or if you've ever been wondering, or even maybe losing sleep about how much it's going to cost you to start your own business. Because maybe for a while now you've been thinking about, I'm interested in starting my own business because maybe now my kids are all out of high school and I have a little bit of extra time. Maybe you're still working a full-time job, or maybe you're ready to quit your job and you want to start something, but you're not really sure about all the details and how much it's going to cost you. That's what I'm here for. I would love to help you start your business when you're ready. Make sure you send me a DM and let me know. You can also email me or you can send it to aloha@janetjohnston.com. And you can also click on the links in the notes for this podcast episode. But I want to talk with you about that because that seems to be something that is really overwhelming, just thinking about all the little things. Because if you don't know anything about starting a business, it can really seem scary. The unknown always seems to be scary, but especially when it comes to money, because money is one of those things that stresses people out the most. And I want to help you think about these things so that maybe you can get a little bit of a clearer understanding of and maybe about how much it would cost you. And I want to share these things because I wish somebody, like I say in some of my episodes, I wish somebody would have told me how much it would cost to run a business. Now, way back when, I was selling the things that I was making. So already I had spent that money to buy, the fabrics and all the things that I needed. So I was already into it where I had my things already there to make. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. But let me just start by saying that there is no one way that's perfect or the right way to start a business, because it depends on so many things, like what kind of business you want to start, how much time you actually have to work on your business, and how much money you have available, and things like, well, maybe you don't have money available right now because maybe all your money that you're making, if you're still working a job, maybe all your money goes to all of your household expenses. So there's so much to think about. So I'm just here to kind of give you like a brief overview of some of the things that you can do and maybe how much it's going to cost, because everyone's life is so different and their finances are different. So just keep in mind that the things I talk about are just really basic and simple to give you a general idea. It's not absolute. It's not anything that's absolute and concrete. So let's talk about this. Now, there are many things that go into starting and running a business. So the first example I want to share with you is that if you don't have any money to spend, or you don't want to spend money to start your business for whatever reason, and that's up to you, and that's okay. Just remember that it is okay with whatever you decide, because your life is your life. You never should have to answer to anyone for the amount of money you spend in your business or anything like that. It's what you're comfortable with. Okay. Now, the first example is if you don't want to spend money and you think, okay, you know what? I'm not really sure that I want to spend money, or I don't have it. So how can I start this business? Let me give you an example. Say, for example, like I was using with the business I had a really long time ago with selling the things that I made. And because I was sewing all those years, I already had a lot of fabric. I've already had my sewing machines and my serging machines, and I had scissors and thread and everything you can think of because that's what I did. I made my own clothes, I sewed for other people. So I already had all those supplies that I had spent money on for years. So I didn't need to spend any money at all, any more money to start my business because I already had all the supplies I needed. So that's kind of a weird example because I did spend the money previously, but to start my business, I didn't need to spend any more money because I already had everything. So that's one example in this first example. But say, for example, you don't want to sell something that you make, and maybe you want to just teach like a skill that you have. I have met so many talented women and they are so good at so many things. And maybe you're thinking, oh, I want to try and teach somebody all these skills that I have. And for that reason, you don't have to spend money because if you have a computer already, whether it's a desktop or a laptop, it doesn't really matter, and you have a cell phone, you already have what you need to get started because you could start by, now I know this gets people uncomfortable when I talk about making a video, of yourself, but you can start by making a video. You don't have to show your face on camera. You can use your computer and do like PowerPoint slides to teach what skill you have, and if you have a cell phone, you can also make recordings on your cell phone. You can even make recordings on your computer if you just want to verbally teach something and not have it be a visual teaching. So that is like one more example of what you can do to get started on your business without having to spend any money at all. Like literally, it's nothing because you already are using the things that you have. And also, there are free resources out there. Like, if you want to create really pretty digital designs, if you don't do Photoshop, like I don't do Photoshop, but you can create your own designs for free on canva.com. That's canva.com. And there are other free resources too. Now, I know sometimes the topic of Facebook is difficult for certain people. And if you wanted to teach something in a group to a bunch of people, creating a Facebook group to teach something that doesn't cost you anything. Having a Facebook account and having a Facebook group is completely free. So you could also teach something in a group setting where it's totally free. So that is just some of the examples of if you wanted to start your business without spending any money. Like you literally do not spend one more penny. Okay, now I want to talk about like the second example about how much it would cost to start your business. So say you have maybe about $100, or you're willing to spend about $100 to start your business, or up to 100, maybe not the total 100, but maybe you have up to 100 that you can use. So there are things like if you wanted to buy like a microphone for if you're going to do recordings, because audio is so important. What's more important if you do audio and if you do a video, what's more important is that your audio is of good quality, because visually, if somebody can't see something in the video, it's not as frustrating as it is if they can't hear you well, or the sound is funny, or there's a lot of noise in the background, or if your computer, if you're recording something on your computer and you're just using the audio from your computer, sometimes the sound quality is really bad. So if you had like $100, you could spend like $20 on like a lavalier mic, Or you can spend like $59 on like a handheld dynamic microphone. Or you could spend like $100 on like a different kind of microphone. Well, microphones, they range in price all the way on up to thousands of dollars. But you can get a really decent microphone for less than $100. And you don't need to start off with a $100 microphone. There are a lot of good quality microphones that are in the $50 to $100 range. And you know what? When I made my videos, I actually used just a lavalier mic to begin with, and that was only $20. And then I bought one that was a little bit more. It was like about 50 something dollars. And the quality of that was really good. And if you're not like a digital sound expert, you would never know the difference between my $20 lavalier mic versus my $50 lavalier mic. So that's just some things to think about, because we can get in our heads and we can let it go around and around and around about, well, what if that doesn't sound good? Well, what if this doesn't work as well? But don't worry about those things. If you only have up to $100 to spend, just go with the basics. You don't have to do anything super fancy or super expensive in the beginning, because, I don't advise to spend a lot of money anyway at first. Okay, so the third example that I want to talk about is that if you are willing to spend $500 or more, or if you have that kind of money to spend, there are things that you can get, like a really good quality microphone if you wanted to teach something. There are microphones that cost $250 to $1,000. But I don't advise really anyway to spend that kind of money up front. And I don't advise it because when you start a business, you never really know if that money you're spending is going to be worth it, or if you're even going to continue with your business. So think about this. Maybe you start your business and a few months into it, you decide that maybe entrepreneurship is really not for you. Or maybe you want to change the structure of your business completely. And you don't want to spend all that money and then realize, oh, well, I didn't need all this equipment. There's an unlimited number of reasons for maybe why you don't want to continue entrepreneurship. Maybe things in life got in the way, and maybe now is not the time. Maybe you need to wait, because everyone's life we live life in seasons. Like a season when you're a young mother and you have all these kids to raise, or maybe you don't have kids, but maybe there's something else that is taking precedence. Maybe you have family members you have to take care of, or elderly parents. So because everyone's life runs in seasons, maybe you thought, oh, okay, maybe now I want to start a business, but then when you're a few months in, you realize, okay, I can't do this. I just can't focus, or other things in your life are taking over. And that's okay. You can always start your business again later on. You can, wait a little while, maybe a number of years you would have to wait. But if you are willing to spend, or you have the money, you can get a better microphone to do video or audio. And again, you don't have to do video where you show yourself. You can do PowerPoint slides, but again, you want the audio to be really good, of good quality. And then if you do have a physical product that you are selling, maybe you're making it yourself, or you're selling someone else's product, you do have to spend money, because you would need either your own website that does cost money every month, and you would need to sign up for other services, and there's fees that are involved when you sell your product. Or there are some instances where you don't have to pay any fees until after that product is sold. But there are so many expenses that go into running a business where you have a physical product. So you have to make sure that you do have money where there's fees. And remember, you do have to pay taxes. Nobody really likes, I've never met anyone who likes paying taxes, myself included. I do not like paying it, but that's the price we have to pay for doing business. So you do need money on the side where these things that come up, and especially for services that you have to pay. Now, like for example, in Canva, they do have a free version, but if you have someone who is helping you create your digital designs, maybe you get to a point where you want to have someone, an assistant or a virtual assistant, or anyone that you pay to help you. You would have to pay for this service in Canva to have like someone else on your team help you get into your account in Canva to do any digital designs. It does cost extra. There are fees that come with selling products and things like that, but there are different ways of navigating. There are ways of keeping your expenses down as well. So I know I'm going a lot into all of these things that maybe you may not even be sure of what I'm saying or understand what I'm saying. But just know that you do have options. And I'm not really able to say, okay, well, you know what? It's going to cost you $20 a month to run your business or to start your business. Or it's going to cost you, $69.99 to start your business. I would love to say that, hey, you know what? This is exactly what it's going to cost. But there is no possible way that I can say that until you know for sure what kind of business you want to have and all of the things that are involved in it. Also, I wanted to make sure you know that you do have a fee where in the state that you live in or even country, there is a fee to start a business in that state that you live in. Here in Hawaii, I think it's only like $20 to register your own business, where I would just advise just to use your first and last name for now until you can get further into your business and decide what direction you want to go. But you don't have to start. Now, it's not the best advice to tell you to start your business first and then register your business with the state that you live in. But if you absolutely do not have any money whatsoever to spend on starting a business, I would say start your business and get your first client or sell your first product to make money so that you can pay for your business registration. So there are ways to work around it if you're at that stage where you can't spend any money. But the point of this podcast episode is just to get you thinking about how much it's going to cost you to get started. And to register your business is just one of those minimal expenses that you have to do no matter what, whether you do it now or whether you do it, after you make your first sale. It still has to get done. So like I said in the beginning, if you are ready to start your business, let me know. I'm here to help you, and we can get on a strategy call and I can help you get started, because that's really exciting for me, is to help someone get started. But I do hope that this episode has helped you just a little bit, just to ease your mind and help you to realize that it doesn't have to cost you anything to start a business. Because, like I said, money can stress you out, but don't let it, because there's always a way to start your business that it's not so stressful, or that it won't be stressful, and it won't cost you any money at first. Now, to be real, businesses do cost money after a while. Once you get going, there are things that you might need to pay for later on. But at first, you don't need anything really. We are blessed to have all this wonderful technology available to us 24/7. The internet is the most interesting thing, and it's the most amazing thing where you can have a business now. So just know that I'm here to support you, and I know you can do this, and you have worth and value. I want to make sure you know that you have worth and value. And please share this podcast with anyone who you know would get great value out of listening to it, especially if you know that they're thinking about starting their own business. Or even if they're not, there's still great value that I share in each episode that can bring value to women, even if they aren't interested in starting their own business. And please rate and review this podcast. I would appreciate it. And thank you so much. I hope you have a great day. Aloha.